This week we have a very Wisconsin-centric episode with playoff highlights, an interview, and much more. Hello, I'm Candace, and welcome back to the State Champs Esports Show. If you're new to our little program, then thank you for joining us. And as always, we're brought to you by Lawrence Tech and Hungry Howie's Pizza. Before we get started, make sure to head over to ltuathletics.com to recruit yourself if you're interested in competing at a collegiate level. You can be a part of their inaugural varsity esports team. With the teams finalized for our Winter Overwatch tournament, we've opened up the registration for our Spring League of Legends tournament. This will be the 5th year that we've partnered with Lawrence Tech to bring you this competition. The regular season fun begins in April and will kick off the postseason in May, so make sure to sign up your team today at statechampsesports.net. During our recent solo Rocket League tournament, we were joined by several highly skilled gamers from the Wisconsin High School Esports Association. This inspired us to find out more about the esports scene in the Badger State. We'll have an interview with the man behind the nonprofit organization later in the show, but first, let's check out some of the action-packed highlights from the first round of their Super Smash Bros. Playoffs.
The Wisconsin High School Esports Association kicked off their Super Smash Bros. Tournament this past Tuesday, and a number of teams competing across 3 divisions, and today the spotlight comes from the Division II bracket. Edgewood Elite and New Richmond Tigers in the first round, and a quick shout out to Edgewood Esports for the Twitch stream. Check them out at twitch.tv/Edgewood Esports. The Elite would take the first game, giving Edgewood the early edge. The second game saw the Tigers claw back in the series, tying it up at 1 apiece. But the ice would tilt in the favor of Edgewood High School from here on out. The Elite would capture the next 3 games to move on to the quarterfinals next Tuesday on January 19th. Their opponent, the Raiders from Two Rivers High School. For more Wisconsin High School esports, go to WIHSEA.org today.
Have you or your school jumped on the Valorant bandwagon yet? The game has been gaining tons of steam, so we asked our game reviewer Horace to break it down for us.
Hey guys, this is Horace. Welcome back to another review. Today, we're going to be looking at a game that's pretty much Counter-Strike, but injected with a little bit of Overwatch. Valorant was released on June 2nd of 2020 and was really well received. With betas and alphas coming up before, the hype was definitely built up before launch, and it was pretty well deserved. What we've got is one of the cleanest CSGO-esque games in a long time. The game's aesthetics are incredible. The menu and the general layout feel modern and futuristic with bright neon colors that pop out and are super vibrant. The music is the perfect gritty techno-rock rap mix that gets you pumped up before every match in the game. The gameplay is a lot like Counter-Strike, in that every round you get money to buy weapons, grenades, armor, etc. before a match. 13 rounds, one team rushes, plants a bomb at 2 sites, or a team defends or defuses the bombs. Killing the whole team ends the round. Pretty straightforward stuff, but there are other games that offer shorter versions. The skill curve is very steep. For anyone who hasn't played any of the Counter-Strike games, your shots have to be spot on. Every single gun has its own firing spray. Shooting while moving reduces accuracy, so walking or standing or crouching is probably the best way to do it, but obviously you're more easy to be shot. The game does a good job of putting that stress on, as even a single well-placed bullet can end you. So you're forced to think strategically before even entering a firefight that you see or hear. Mix into this, every operative has their own abilities. Taking a page out of Overwatch's book, but a little bit more subdued. Every character has a power they can use in the fight, from throwing up a flame wall, to a bubble of wind where you can't be seen, or even throwing up a camera to check on a spot on the map for you. There's also ultimate abilities, which rack up from kills, deaths, and resources on the map. The powers push the game's strategy even further, and quick thinking is really needed, but without being too overpowered or messing up the pace of the game. Valorant is a challenging and a fantastic addition to the competitive gaming scene. I can't wait to see what the pros are able to do in future tournaments. From what I've seen on Twitch, it's some pretty crazy stuff. The game is free, so there really is no reason not to get it, but a friendly warning from me to you, have fun, but get ready, because you'll need to get good for this one, gang.
Thank you, Juarez. We look forward to adding Valorant to our upcoming summer schedule. We're excited to finally get our Overwatch tournament underway next week. But to hold us over, Ethan has this breakdown of the first round of playoffs from the Wisconsin High School Esports Association.
I'm Ethan Avery reporting in, and let's take a look at some Wisconsin Overwatch action. In Division 1, West Allis would defeat Wilmot Union. Bayport would advance past Elkhorn. Union Grove took out Arrowhead. And RUSD Horlick secured victory over Appleton. In Division 2, Wisco Lutheran moves past East Troy. Two Rivers overcame Merrill. Fox Valley won against Monroe. Wintnall triumphed over Reedsburg. And in Division 3, Winnebago Lutheran beat Random Lake. And finally, the last winner was Fenimore over Watoma.
Now, for our final segment of the show, we've got an interview with the president of the Wisconsin High School Esports Association.
I'm Kevin, and today I got Mike Dahle here from Wisconsin High School Esports. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
All right, just give a little bit about what you do there and what's your role, and introduce yourself to us a little bit.
So my daytime hat, I am a business education teacher at Elkhorn High School. After school, I run the State High School Esports Association for Wisconsin. I help oversee all of competition, all PR kind of for esports in the high school, and trying to help educate more schools as to why we should be offering esports in our classrooms. We try to split up our seasons to allow students to compete in multiple titles, but then at the same time, not burn out our staff because they graciously give up a lot of hours of their day in order to help make this a possibility. So trying to balance that sword, if you will.
I just want to know, when did you get started in esports?
I got started about, I think, like 4 or 5 years ago, really. I was pushing some video game design curriculum through in one of my classes, and a student did a presentation on the League of Legends World Championship. And I was like, oh, esports is a thing. Like I grew up loving playing StarCraft. And so after some random Google searching, I found there was the High School Star League. And I was just like, you guys want to compete? And they were like, yeah. So essentially that's what kind of spiraled this all off. We got invited to Robert Morris University to play at a esports invitational for high schools. And there was 3 or 4 other schools from the state of Wisconsin. We were like, let's start our own thing. Like we can oversee it like we do traditional sports. And from there, it's just taken off and grown exponentially and quickly become a good majority of my spare time. So
looks like you're having a lot of fun there. And, I just want to know, how important is it for these statewide organizations to be run at the educator level?
I think it's fundamental. You can't really have high school competition without involving educators. There's so much more. Like, granted, I'll be honest, I don't know much about Smash, and my Overwatch ability is not to the highest level, but building that rapport with my students, helping them become accountable, responsible, holding to commitments are huge. And so there's a lot that we do in the classroom. Then not to mention, it's an ability to tie what we're teaching into the classroom to esports. And we can use this as an avenue for them to develop real world skills as well.
What advice do you got for high school programs to get an esports program started up? Because, it can be, somewhat difficult, trying to find the right equipment, the right teammates, what kind of players, the games they want to play.
If I'm coming at it from an educator or administrator, my first thing that I always recommend is that you survey your students and figure out where their interests are, and let the popularity of the title in your school kind of dictate the direction that you go to start. Because every school has their own kind of niche for what game is the most popular title. I've had some schools that are like, yeah, well, World of Tanks is huge at our school. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't know very many people that play that one. But so using them, getting their buy-in, letting students kind of help have some of that accountability, let them take ownership of developing this as well. And so as an educator, it's literally using your students to your advantage. Let them help drive the direction. And you'd be really surprised how much equipment that we have at schools that can operate a lot of these titles. You don't need $2,000 to $3,000 rigs. Granted, they look really cool, but you can still operate League of Legends, Rocket League, and a handful of other titles on the same PCs that we can already run CAD or Photoshop on. So being able to multi-purpose some of those so that there's not a huge cost of entry is really vital, because given the current COVID situation, we know that school budgets are tighter than they've ever been. So
what is your thoughts on the future of high school esports?
I think it'll be in every school here soon. If we're looking at our growth numbers here, like I think we're close to 20% on our mailing list now for the state of Wisconsin. I know other states around the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, all of them are crushing it. Some of them have higher numbers than us already too. But I really think that we're starting to see the recognition of esports in schools, not just because of COVID, because these are not COVID proof. Anybody that says that doesn't know what they're talking about, but every school can have it. And you have gamers in every school. And whether or not you're competing on a statewide level, or if it's just a little fun in-house tournament, esports is there. And you have those students that want to play, or they're playing at home. And this is a way for us to be able to bring in a community, build a community within our school, get them invested a little bit more in the education itself, building friendships, communication, teamwork, collaboration, all those employment buzzwords that we hear thrown around in education all the time. And I think it's just another medium that we can reach more students with, and they're already doing it. So let's capitalize on it.
Before we go, let me remind you to download our State Champs Network mobile app. It's available for iPhone and Android. There's also a streaming version of our app available for Roku and Amazon Fire devices. Not only will you be able to watch all of our esports content, but you'll also find high school sports and robotics coverage from throughout Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. On behalf of everyone at State Champs Esports, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.